Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a super important topic in maths, fractions. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Seeing those numbers stacked on top of each other can look a little confusing at first. But trust me, we're going to break it all down into simple, easy steps. By the end of this, you'll see they're not so tricky after all. Let's dive right in.
All right, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll answer the big question, what even is a fraction? Then, we'll learn how to actually see fractions on a number line, which is a really neat trick. And finally, we'll get into the action with adding and subtracting them. Sound good? Let's get started.
Okay, let's kick things off with part one. What is a fraction? Think of this as the foundation for everything else. If you get this part, the rest is going to be a piece of cake.
So what is a fraction, really? Well, it's actually super simple. It's just a way of talking about a piece of something whole. Imagine you've got a pizza, right? A fraction just tells you how much of that one whole pizza you get to eat. It's a part of a whole. Now, every fraction has two key players. The number on top is called the numerator. That's easy, it just tells us how many parts we have. The number on the bottom is the denominator, and this one is super important. It tells us how many equal parts the whole thing was cut into. That word equal is key. Let's look at a real example. 3/4, or 3/4. That bottom number, the 4, tells us our pie was cut into 4 equal slices. And the top number, the 3, that just means we're talking about 3 of those slices. See? 3 out of 4 equal parts. Simple as that.
All right, listen up, because this is a super important rule. The golden rule of fractions. You can never, ever have a 0 at the bottom, in the denominator. I mean, think about it. Can you cut a cake into 0 pieces? It's impossible, right? It just doesn't make sense. So remember, 0 is never allowed in the denominator.
Okay, quick recap. What did we learn? A fraction is a part of a whole. The top number is the numerator, the parts we have. The bottom number is the denominator, the total equal parts. And the biggest rule of all, the denominator can never, ever be 0. Got it? Awesome. Let's keep going.
Okay, here's a little exam tip for you. This is where they sometimes try to trick you. Always remember that the parts have to be equal. If someone cuts a cake and gives you a tiny slice and themselves a huge one, you can't describe that with a simple fraction. It's a trick question, so watch out for it. All right, on to part 2. We're going to talk about fractions on a number line. Now, this is a really cool way to actually see what a fraction is worth and makes it so much easier to compare them. Let's stick with our friend, 3/4. How do we put this on a number line? First things first, since it's less than one whole, we know it lives somewhere between 0 and 1. Now look at the denominator. It's a 4. That tells us to chop that space between 0 and 1 into 4 equal jumps. Now look at the numerator. 3. We just take 3 jumps starting from 0. 1, 2, 3. And boom! Right there, that's where 3/4 is. But what if you get something like 5/3? The top number is bigger. We call this an improper fraction. Don't worry, there's a simple trick. The absolute first thing you do is turn it into a mixed number. Just ask yourself, how many times does 3 go into 5? It goes in one whole time with 2 left over. So 5/3 is the same as 1 2/3. Now it's easy. We go to the 1 on the number line, and then we just find 2/3 in the space between 1 and 2. You know what's great about the number line? It makes comparing fractions a piece of cake. The rule is so easy. Any number on the right is bigger than any number on its left. That's it. If you look here, you can see that 1/2 is to the right of 1/3, so 1/2 is the greater fraction. Simple. And here's another exam tip, and it's a big one. Seriously, write this down. Whenever you see an improper fraction where the top is bigger than the bottom, what's the first thing you do? That's right, convert it to a mixed number. Always. It will make your life so much easier and help you avoid silly mistakes. You guys are doing great. Now for part 3, adding fractions. This might seem tricky, but we're going to walk through it step by step. Let's tackle this together. Okay, get ready for the golden rule of adding fractions. It's the one rule you have to know. You can only, and I mean only, add fractions if their bottom numbers, the denominators, are the same. If they're different, you can't add them yet. We have to fix it first. So what happens when we try to add 1/3 and 1/2? Uh-oh, the denominators, 3 and 2, are different. These are called unlike fractions. We can't just add them straight away. We have to do a little bit of work first to make them match. Let me show you how.
So step one is to find what we call a common denominator. And the best way to do that is to find the LCM, the least common multiple of our two denominators, 3 and 2. Let's list their multiples. What's the first number that shows up in both lists? It's 6. So 6 is our new magic number, our common denominator.
Step 2. Now we need to turn our old fractions into new ones that both have 6 at the bottom. We call these equivalent fractions. Let's start with 1/3. How do we turn the 3 into a 6? We multiply by 2, right? Well, the rule is whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 1 times 2 is 2. That means 1/3 is the same as 2/6. We do the same for 1/2. To get to 6, we multiply by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. 1/2 becomes 3/6.
And now, the easy part, the fun part. Look, the denominators are both 6, so now we can just add the top numbers. What's 2 plus 3? It's 5. And the denominator? It stays the same. So our final answer is 5, 6. See? You did it.
Okay, exam tip time. If you want to get really good and really fast at adding fractions, what's the one skill you should practice? Finding the LCM. Get comfortable with that, and the rest of the problem becomes super easy. It's the key to everything.
You guys are on a roll. We're at our final section, subtracting fractions. And I've got some great news for you. If you understood how to add, you've pretty much already got this. It's almost the exact same process. Let's try this one. 2/3 minus 1/4. Okay, take a look at those denominators. They're different, right? So you already know what our first step has to be. Yep, you got it. Step 1 is exactly the same. Find the LCM of the denominators. What's the LCM for 3 and 4? Well, it's 12. So our new common denominator is going to be 12. All right, step 2, let's make our equivalent fractions. For 2/3, to get a 12 on the bottom, we have to multiply by 4. So we do the same to the top. 2 times 4 is 8, so we have 8/12. For 1/4, we multiply by 3 to get 12 on the bottom. So 1 times 3 on top gives us 3. That's 3/12. Perfect. And now for the final step. Since the denominators are the same, we just subtract the numerators. What's 8 minus 3? It's 5. The denominator stays 12. And our final answer is 5/12. Fantastic job! Before we finish, I have to give you a common mistake alert. Please, please, please never, ever subtract the denominators. Think about it. The denominator tells us the size of the pizza slice, right? In our last problem, we were working with 12ths. We are just changing how many slices we have, not the size of the slices themselves. The size doesn't change, so the denominator stays the same. Let's do a super fast recap of everything we learned today. You've got this. First, fractions are just parts of a whole. Second, number lines are awesome for seeing how big a fraction is. Third, the golden rule. To add or subtract, you must find a common denominator using the LCM. And finally, once the bottoms are the same, you just add or subtract the tops. You have all done an excellent job today. So you're basically a fraction master now. And I've got a little challenge for you. For the rest of the day, I want you to be a fraction detective. Look for them in the real world. When you share food with your family, when you tell time, even in sports like cricket. See how many you can find. Keep practicing, and well done today.